Hello, everyone. I'm Dee from H&D Abroad. I'm so glad to have you join me today. And I, of course, have a special friend that I talked about on our Tuesday Live. Um, Thursdays are the days I invite my sister friends, my new girlfriends, to join me to talk about wellness, about physical, mental, emotional, financial well being, and the things that we are incorporating in our lives as people who are centering just well being, but also are combining it with a life of travel, with a life of moving abroad, with a life of ease. I want you to consider this your home base for being embraced and cheered for and loved. We are all about creating the life that you want, but also creating the life that you need to live well. And so, if that is what would bring you a little more joy in your life, a little more light, some resources, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to our channel, and set your notifications. I don't do this every Thursday, but I try to get in at least 2 to 3 out of every month. And I'm so glad to have our guest, but let me give you a little bit of background. So, you all know we are moving abroad in 2024. Um, the reason why I'm motivated for that is because I have some health issues that have surfaced over the last few years because of things like stress, things like grief, things like just a lot of change happening in my life. And we had planned maybe 5 years from now to move. But as these health issues have come up, and I've tried to do a little bit of maneuvering, some successful, like taking a career break. It's nice to take a break, but the underlying issues haven't resolved themselves. And so I believe that I need to take a more aggressive approach for centering wellness and giving my life the balance that I need. I see April from Positively Prill. She and I talked about this as well. Is yes, you should grab a part of every day for your wellness. But if it's not working, you've got options. And that's what we're going to talk to Kiya about today. So let me go ahead and have you introduce yourself to our audience, Kiya. You know who you are, where are you in the world, and what brought you to the wellness space?
Well, thank you, Dee, for having me on your channel. I really appreciate it. You have such great content. My name is Kiya Wilson. I am a health and fitness coach. I specialize in weight management and travel wellness. I am, by 16 years of experience, a little over, a registered nurse. I've been a registered nurse in many different specialties, so I have a lot of experience in different areas. The thing that drove me, aside from a love of travel, I've had a love of travel since I was 18 years old. When I was able to travel on my own, that was the first trip I took, was to Canada before you even needed a passport, because I wanted to leave the country. And so since then, I've been, going off whenever I can. But as a nurse, one thing that I learned is, as I worked with patients, I would frequently see people who would come in and who would have chronic diseases, COPD, lung complaints, congestive heart failure, lots of really advanced diseases that were chronic for them. And I think to myself, if I had known you 5 or 10 years before, I could maybe help you reduce your risk for these frequent exacerbations that you're having. Maybe it would, you wouldn't have the symptoms that you're having now because you would have learned how to manage them at an earlier stage. And so I set out to work with people in the prevention stage rather in the disease management stage. I think that if we
Mhm.
can catch these things early, we can have a better quality of life because, once you've gone down to an advanced stage, it's really difficult to get back to a state of really good well-being. It's not impossible, but it's extremely difficult. Um, and so I started studying to become a personal trainer. I started working out how can I do this, not as a nurse, but as someone who can work as a preventative person. And so I combined nursing with personal training and learning how to move and learning how to eat and nutrition, just so that I could work with people reducing their risk for developing diseases. And as we get older, me personally, I had an experience where over a period of 4 years, from 2017 to 2021, I gained 75 pounds. I had a lot going on in my life where I was working full time. I was going to graduate school, and I was going through a divorce. I had two kids that I was taking care of. I was under a significant amount of stress. I had, really sad event happened during that period of time, and so I had some depression that I was dealing with. And over that period of time, I gained 75 pounds. It wasn't just because the weight fell on me. I was living a sedentary lifestyle. I wasn't eating well. I was eating very poorly. I was eating a lot of takeout, and you know, I wasn't in a good place. And I said to myself, I wanted to help people avoid this because I started like my blood pressure. I started notice was going up. My cholesterol levels were increasing. I was on a path that wasn't so good. And as a nurse, I knew, I understood the ramifications of the consequences of what I was doing with myself. And even my doctors would say it, oh, you need to lose weight, your blood pressure's been up, we might have to start you on medication. And so I decided that I needed to change. I also decided, if I want to help other people, because this has been something since 2009, 2010 that I've been wanting to do, and
Mhm.
I've been researching. Um, if I want to be able to coach people to wellness, I should be an example. And at that point, I wasn't
Mm.
being an example. And so I said, you know what? Now is the time. I had actually decided that I was going to be moving to France, a lifelong dream of mine that I decided I didn't want to wait until I retired because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So let's do it today. Um,
Mhm.
and I said, you know what? This is it. So in 2021, I decided to start my YouTube channel, Kiya reRuns, and I documented my weight loss journey. And in that year, from March until December, I lost over 50 pounds. And um, I I used that forum as a way to show people that, it's very possible. You don't have to go to the gym every day to do it. You don't have to restrict the way that you eat to do it. And so in that I'm hoping to be a model, and also for people who, I aspire to move abroad. Right now I'm in New Jersey. I again plan to move to southwest of France. Hopefully next year. The plans are to get my visa and move in the fall of next year. And so, I am working to prepare myself for that. And how do you do that? When I was 75 pounds, I'd taken some trips and I didn't have a great time because of that extra weight, because I was sedentary, So I have those personal experiences of knowing what it feels like not to feel good. And
Mhm.
even the before that, I've been a runner for over 20 years, and I've always eaten well. I've always been fit and active. But that period of time, it was a difficult time. And some people have those moments in their life where, you know, they just they they lost track of where they needed to be. And it's not any
Mhm.
fault of their own, life happens to everybody. But there is a way out of that. And it's beneficial, especially if you're going to find yourself in a completely different environment. It's really important to find a way to get back on track. It can be difficult to start, but you can. It's very possible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I just saw, I guess was it earlier this month that you did your, oh goodness, did you go, was it Spain? You went to Spain for, oh, I
I
can't
want
remember what it's
to
called.
Santiago.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so I aspire to to do those kinds of things again. I was not a distance runner, but I will walk you to, for for miles.
Mhm.
I want people to be thinking about, yes, is my body ready? Is my spirit ready? Am I centering, a community of people who also, maybe my country selection is a country that where cycling, walking, where those are normal behaviors, where you have transportation options other than a car that allow you to build in, fitness and exercise within your day. But yeah, so my mind is ready, and now I'm preparing my body and my spirit. And I think that building in some time and building in some intentions can definitely be helpful. You talked about kind of going in a direction. Hmm, what helped you to recognize I shouldn't wait to make the change? Because most of us, it can be years. It could be a compounding of, yeah, I've got pre-diabetes. Yes, I've noticed my weight has picked up. But what pivot in your spirit, in data that you're receiving? Because that's what I consider what I get on the scale is. Those are numbers. That's data to inform me. Either I can choose to ignore it or or do something about it. What was the pivot? What caused you to make the pivot to, I'm doing things business as usual and I want to change?
So there were a couple of things, and again, it was over a period of a few years that this happened. I had uh, an event happen in my life that was uh, it was it caused a lot of distress for me. And it was one of those events that causes you to stop and reflect on where you are in your life. You
Mm,
know, where am I going? Is this the right place for me? Look at the people around me. There were a couple of people who I had, um, my age, friends and acquaintances who had passed away in their 40s and early
mm,
50s. And you know that combination made me think, and this is especially for my decision to not wait until I retire to move abroad. We tomorrow is not guaranteed. um, what we do today is we need to be present with every day, and we need to be able to focus on where we're going today and tomorrow and into the future, because I don't know. It was one of those things where, I said, I'm not going to wait until I retire, because 10, 20, 25 years down the line, what happens to some people when they say, oh, I'm, 60 or I'm 65 or I'm 70 and it's time. Now I can start living my life. And then they get sick, to the point where they are not able to travel, or they're not able to do the things that they were able to do maybe just a couple years before, because they put themselves in this mindset where they take one vacation a year, where they are sitting sedentary at a desk every day because they're working really, really hard to save up all this money so that when they're retired, they can do all the things. And then when they're done, their body is in such a bad way that it just breaks down, and they say, okay, well, you did all these things before and we can't move you forward anymore. So all of that time that you wasted, I'm sorry, but your quality of life now may have to suffer for that. And I didn't want that to be me. um And so I said, you know what, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to do it now. And I put a plan in motion to figure out how am I going to do that. And unfortunately, because of that stressful event, um, it put me in a state of depression. So even though I was putting plans in motion
Mm.
and I was moving forward, I had a goal set and I was moving forward with that goal, something else had to go, and it was my weight. It was my ability to maintain exercise and to eat well. Um, but after, a period of time, I said to myself, okay, I got to a point where I'm ready to go. I'm ready to move forward, but my weight wouldn't allow me.
Mm.
My body was like, well, where do you think you're going? We don't feel good. We're not well enough to do what you want to do. And again, because I wanted to move forward, helping other people to prevent what I was falling into myself, I needed to model. And so I said, if I want to help other people, I need to help myself first. And so that was the second um, that was the second thing that kind of moved me forward.
Yeah, I have always confessed. I turned 50 this year, and I think reflecting on I'm losing more classmates, people my age, and I'm saying, we're young. We're really young. If I want a different outcome, I have to do something different. I want to go back to a comment that I saw in the chat because I think it's one of the myths. If you change your location, your health has got to improve, right? It's the idea is that once I move abroad, I mean, the food is fresher and this, um, healthcare is more affordable, and is that going to really change me? And I think I'd like to hear your take on, is it true that people's health will improve once they move abroad?
It is not true. It is not true unless you are, as you said, intentional about making it true. Um, I will preface that though with saying that the American culture and the American way of doing things is not the way that it's done in other parts of the world. And so there is a certain cultural aspect to our weight gain, especially for, I'd say, Black men and women, or people of color in general. There's a certain heaviness that we live with each day that causes us a certain amount of stress, and tension, that affects it affects the way that it affects everything. It affects the way you think. It affects the way you move. It affects your fight or flight response, and the hormones and everything associated with that. It's not just, oh, I'm having a bad day. There's a lot more involved. It also, and the food that we eat. There are some foods that we eat that are banned in some countries. There's a lot of
Mhm.
processed foods that we eat here. We are not a culture of, oh, fresh fruit or fresh vegetables. We are canned and processed, fast food. That's just kind of how we roll. We also are not a very active country. A lot of this has to do with, us being a large country. We're spread out very far. So in most areas of this country, people have to drive to get anywhere. I know I can't walk to, I mean, I could. It's very difficult and there aren't sidewalks, so it's a little dangerous to walk to the store. I have to drive. So, as much as I would want to do some of, walking to the store and walking to work, it's just in a lot of cases impossible to do things like that. And so uh, culturally, it's difficult so that when you do move to another culture where they walk, you're not going to have a car, you have to walk to the bus or you have to walk to the grocery store where they have a lot of seasonal foods. So you're getting lots of seasonal fruits and vegetables, and that's really what you're going to be eating.
Mhm.
you are going to see a decline in your weight. I'm not going to say that blanket statement, everybody's different, but generally speaking, you're going to notice a little bit of a change um, in your physical ability to do things and your appearance because not only will you have that weight lifted, so you'll feel better, you're probably sleeping better, but you're eating better, I'm sure, and you're moving more, I'm sure. So yes, you will have some of those changes, but after you've done them and they become routine for you, you need to still be intentional about doing more.
More.
That's
Absolutely. Absolutely. Doing what we were telling our daughter was your body, even though she has a very physically active, she's moving throughout the her shift work. We're like, your body gets used to that, your heart gets used to that, so you have to challenge it in a different way. I think April's brought up a really good point, is that the goalpost is always going to be moving. I mean, it's you're thinking, I'm going to wait until retirement and then things will get better. When my kids get old enough to take care of themselves, then I'll be able, if I pay this debt off, I'm really working hard. The goalpost is going to continue to move. And even, y'all, even the retirement age, I remember when it was 60, then 62, then 67. Y'all, if we're waiting on retirement, retirement's going to outpace us. And so I've heard so many stories of people saying, I got a cancer diagnosis. I had a heart attack. I had a stroke. As I've retired, cancer. I had a cancer diagnosis after retirement. I don't. I have decided that my time is now. But the reason why I've made the time is now is because I've had people in my family, in my direct family line, who didn't make it to 60, who did not make it to 60. And so, what if I want a different outcome? I'm going to have to choose to do something different. So, yes, so I think people hmm, may need to try on a few of the health, I don't know, maybe a few of the health changes. So okay, so I'm putting Kathy's comment up about Portugal, because Portugal has its own physical challenge in the everyday life. So if you know Portugal, if you like going uphill both ways, that is your city. So, Kathy, if you can put in the comments, like, because I know that Kathy has shared on her channel as well the health changes that she's making now because of some, recognizing that she wants a different outcome. So let's say someone was planning to spend a significant time, a sabbatical, an extended vacation. Could you incorporate some of those lifestyle choices might that you might start, that you might want to continue when you come home? Is a vacation or a sabbatical a good way to launch a healthy lifestyle?
It absolutely is, and it actually may um, be one of the best times to do it because if you think about it, when we and especially think about when you go on vacation, even for a short vacation, a week or 2 weeks. When you're away on vacation, your entire routine changes. You're basically starting from scratch for everything you do. The time that you wake up, the time that you eat your meals, all of that changes. So why not use that intentionally to start a clean slate, to start a brand new routine right then and there, and make the decision that this is the routine that I'm going to follow through with when I get home. So, on the first day, you say, okay, I'm going to have my meal at this time, and these are the types of foods that I would like to eat. I enjoy eating these fresh fruits, and I love having them for breakfast, and I'm going to continue doing this. Now, there are some changes that you're going to have to make when you get home in order to incorporate that into your life. But while
Mhm.
you're on vacation, you're making the decision that that's something that I want to do because this is the direction that I want my life to go. And you'll have that 1 to 2 weeks in order to prepare and to set yourself up for success. That's the key because setting a routine or a habit, having those week or two to be able to do it every day, um,
Hmm.
will help you when you get home. It'll be that much easier rather than immediately, while you're home, you're in your routine from before. It's hard to make that jump. You may go a day or two, but then you just fall right back into the same old because, that's just kind of how we do it, especially if we don't have a specific plan in place. So, yes, going away on vacation or a sabbatical is a great opportunity to set a clean slate and to make a decision about how you want the rest of your life to go. And again, these changes don't have to be monstrous changes. You don't have to make,
Right.
oh, I'm only going to eat these foods or I'm only going to, walk this amount, every day. No, you know, make a conscious decision that this is the type of life that you want to lead and set small goals in place each day. And as each day progresses, and you're successful with them, add something else.
Hmm.
It doesn't have to be this big production. Small changes lead to big results. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. What I also noticed from taking time away, and I know that April with Positively Prill and I talked about it, is sometimes you don't even realize the impact that something like stress has on your body. You may recognize, hey, I'm not sleeping all that great. I feel tired. But like when you have a chance to have a break and it's almost like your body just goes,
Mhm.
like, and so you have an interruption in your regular life. So if you are not taking your vacation, you're missing out seeing what change a change in environment and a change in the responsibilities, because usually on vacation you don't really have a whole lot,
Right.
and you can take a nap in the middle of the day, which I did right before this session today.
And
I
that's
was just like,
okay.
or taking having the opportunity to walk and to see how that impacts your emotions, because we've been talking about the physical, but taking and living with intention even within the emotional well-being space is so vital. I'm not talking to the people that I normally don't talk to because they're not on WhatsApp and
Mhm.
they're not calling me. I didn't give them my WhatsApp number so they don't stress me out. And look what an interruption in that downward pressure, people, environment, work can have when you give yourself a chance to have that interruption if you don't have other circumstances in your life.
That's absolutely right. Um, I can speak to, um, just and I'm going to go back to what you said about taking a nap in the middle of the day. Um, we like to think, you know, as a culture that it's not okay to take a break. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to say, I need to have some time for me. It's okay to tell people I'm busy. It's okay to put your phone on do not disturb and really mean it. You don't have to be available to everyone 24/7. And I actually encourage you not to be. I encourage you to take those naps. I encourage you to do the things that make you feel good, that make you happy, that you enjoy when you can. Those moments mean so much to your mental health, to reducing stress, to even improving your sleep. I mean, all of those things matter to your overall wellness. Um, I can say that, just for people who are in the office or the 9 to 5, I remember I remember a conversation of a couple people who were in the office with me, and they were talking amongst themselves, and I listened, and they were like, "Oh, I was sick a couple weeks ago, but I didn't call out. I've only called out, once in the
Hmm.
last 3 years. I never call out, and even I don't even, use all my vacation. I have like 5 weeks of vacation that I haven't used yet, and I'm thinking to myself, I would never do that. Um, if I'm sick, I'm first of all going to take care of myself. Second of all, if it's something that I can give to other people, why would I want to subject other people to my illness? It's not fair to them. So I'm going to stay home and get
Hmm.
well. And that's just part of our culture. We don't like to take sick days, or not even, it's not that we don't want to, we are discouraged from doing it. We are
Yes.
sometimes shamed or made to feel guilty for taking vacation. So I like to tell people it's okay to take a break. Take a break. Take some time for yourself.
Yes, yes. You are so right. I mean, okay, so I'm going to take off my H&D abroad hat and put on my Danica HR benefits hat because this is a great time of year for us to be having this discussion. If you are employed in the US, and unfortunately, employment is our direct path to access to healthcare, we are paying a pretty penny for it, regardless of the company. And I work for a Fortune 500 company. We have a lot of resources that are available to our employees, and most of them either don't know about them or are not using them. And so this is the time when you should be intentionally engaging your HR benefits professionals. If you've got a packet that's come in the mail where they're outlining what your medical um, services are, please take a look at them. Get to understand them and commit to, if I'm paying for it or if it's accessible to me, I'm going to take advantage of it. So things that I want to make sure that people understand. So uh, I go out in the field, I talk to our professionals, and a lot of people don't recognize that the employee assistance program usually is not connected to your medical benefit. So if you are on your partner's health plan, your employee assistance program at your employer is available to you. Check into it. A lot of times they're doing 6 sessions, 8 sessions, 10 sessions per issue per year for you to take advantage of. That's, you talked about, I'm going through a divorce. That's 8 sessions. I come back behind that. I've had some chronic health issues that I'm trying to emotionally deal with. Now I have to prick my finger or remember to take medication every day. That's another issue. I chained together a year's worth of mental health support because I was beginning to address things that came up in therapy or that just came up in my own personal reflection. If you have access to physical therapy at no cost, low cost, I know our employer provides virtual access to a registered nurse to give health coaching. Y'all, these are benefits you're already paying for. A nutritionist, sometimes reimbursement for WW. If you need these services and you're already paying for them, please use them. Please fill out that employee evaluation every year and tell them, I don't see that we have this benefit and I need it. If your employer is not doing for you, you have resources. You have people like Kiya that are out here who understands what you are centering in your life. So I'm gonna go back up here to Kathy because I think I saw on your page that you had a challenge. So you are running challenges as a part of your Kiya reRuns community. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. I just recently wrapped up a step challenge. It was a 30-day step challenge. With this particular challenge, I encouraged women to set their own, step goal. and every day strive to meet it. And, every day maybe you couldn't make it, but at least you know that you have that goal and you're striving for it. And throughout the 30 days, there was a private Facebook group, and everyone was so supportive. It was a really great community of people working together to meet their step goals. I had a daily email that was motivational. It was just a really, really, really great challenge. It was one of the best challenges I think that I've had, and I'm going to run it again in the next couple of weeks for anyone who is interested. But yeah, I do challenges because I think it's important to, and step challenges are good because they encourage you to move more throughout your day, and that's really what the point is. The
Mhm.
point is that, again, I say that all the time. You don't have to go to the gym to increase your activity. You don't have to run a marathon or plan to run a marathon to, say that you're gonna, increase your fitness. Just increasing your step count each day and moving more throughout your day is sometimes enough. And you'll notice that as you do it each day, you'll want to do more. And then
Mhm.
you'll want to include other activities. It's just a natural progression of things that you'll want to start doing, but you need to start somewhere. And I like to help people, make that first step. And so that's what the step challenge is that I run.
Yeah, what I want to make sure people are hearing is just like we talk on this channel about you don't have to do the move abroad process in isolation alone without without support. You don't have to know everything because when you are in a community of people, you can learn from others. People I am willing to share, other people are sharing, and that now I'm seeing that benefit in other parts of my life. Um, and I think even with an activity challenge like what you're describing, doing that in community, yeah, that means every day I want to get in there and say I tried or I struggled with something, and or to see people cheer for me. And so community can be beneficial in a lot of a lot of different areas of our lives. And you're creating that for and with people. Yeah, yes.
Can I add that um, the community is not only great for motivation, but it's also great to show that, you're not going to be 100% all the time. Nobody is. And that other people, have bad days just like you. You're not the only one
Mm,
struggling sometimes, and sometimes we need to see that. Sometimes we think that we're the only one going through something, and we're not, and there are other people who are empathetic to maybe something you're going through now and can help you through that. So yeah, community is definitely, definitely important.
absolutely. I Yes, this part about taking those vacation, that's the real flex. Putting together those vacation days to make a really nice, long, restful vacation time, not just to do all the things, but to also build in some rest time. So we might be overscheduled as a part of our regular life. Don't overschedule your vacation time. My dad had years. Now this is when they used to let you carry it over. I mean, he had something like 2, 3, 4 years of vacation time. And I was just like, why are you not taking that? And, so I've learned from looking at other people. I love the Exodus Summit community because I get a chance to meet people like you who say, sis, you don't have to be out here and do this alone. Even I thought it was a flex to have all that sick time and not, to power through. And I was like, oh, that's not ease. You mean that? Oh, I don't even recognize the symptoms of I'm I'm contributing to the toxicity of the place that I work. That I have internalized a toxic work culture, where everyone is saying the things like what you've mentioned. So as we're talking about beginning to recognize some of the symptoms, what are some things that you think that people can start to recognize as a part of their everyday life that, hey, am I am I on the readiness path for, mind and body for the kind of travel lifestyle that I want, or the move abroad lifestyle that I want? What are some of the checklist items we could add for well-being?
Well, the first thing is, and it's one of the most important. It's something that I encourage all the time to all of my clients, and it's a piggyback to what you said about employee benefits. It is making sure that you are in touch with your healthcare team, with your
Mhm.
doctor, with your dietitian, whoever is a part of your healthcare team. Be Keep them involved. See them for your preventative visits. Get the screenings that you need. You have the colon cancer screenings. You have lots of things that sometimes we skip out on. Oh, we did that last year
Mhm.
for women. See the gynecologist every year.
Please.
Please, these are important things that we should be doing. And for those with healthcare, a lot of these things are preventative and they're at no additional cost. And if you don't have medical insurance, there are resources out there that can help you to find low cost access to these. Seek them out, um, because it's really important to get to know your body and an intimate level, and really only your healthcare provider can help you with that. So I strongly encourage you to keep them involved and to keep yourself aware of the things that they're telling you, because sometimes
Mhm.
they'll say something and it goes right over your head. Make them tell you what's going on. Make them
Explain
make
it
yes, make them make
in
you
plain
understand.
language.
Exactly. Make them make you understand. Um, that's really important. So that is the first thing. Make sure that you have all of your preventative screenings done. Um, and then make sure, one of the things that I do when I work with some of my clients is to help them determine whether they are physically ready. So they will do an assessment, and you can do, a similar assessment on your own to kind of assess what your physical readiness is. Um, can you walk up this flight? Can you walk up a flight of stairs without being short of breath? How far of a distance can you walk? Can you walk 2 blocks, 3 blocks without feeling tired or that you need to take a break? Are you
Mhm.
able to bend down to touch your toes? Why or why not? Um, these are things that we should know about our body. We should know, our cardiovascular strength, our endurance, um, you know, uh, and you can check these things on your own. You can work with a coach to walk you through it. Um, Certainly, of course, the first thing, as I said, is to work with your healthcare professionals to determine if Um, to get your baseline and let them know that this is something that you're planning to do, because they may
Mhm.
have some suggestions for you and your specific situation that you may not have thought of. Um, Dietary restrictions, or maybe you have a physical limitation and you need a way around that, and your provider can help you with that. Um, Another thing is to look at what you're eating. Um,
Mhm.
you know, when you're going abroad, the foods are not going to be the same. I mean, of course, vegetables are vegetables, but generally speaking, you're going to have some dietary changes when you move abroad, and it's important to recognize what those changes are going to be and how they will impact you personally. Do you have a gluten intolerance? Do you have a dietary restriction where maybe in this country it's prevalent in their foods? So that's another thing that you want to take a look at. So yes, seeing your doctor first, assessing your physical readiness. How ready are you? Just like how we talked about, Kathy in Lisbon, Portugal, and those hills. um, and dietary changes in different countries. If you're moving to say India, or there the food is different in different places, the way that it's prepared. So you
Mhm.
just want to be mindful of these things because they can affect you, sometimes in a negative way if you're not prepared for that.
Mhm.
Also preparing yourself mentally, making sure that you do have a support system in place. this community that you have here, Exodus Summit, there are so many great communities of people out there who are looking to do the same thing as you, who have done the same thing as you, who are doing the same thing as you. Um, Reach out to them for support, um, so you're not alone. And your family, get your family involved. Let them know how you're doing. If you have friends that, you know, um, let them know how you're feeling. Stay in touch with your community, stay in touch with your friends and family, because it's not going to be, when you move abroad, it's not the same as when you're on vacation for 1 or 2 weeks. There are lots
Mhm.
of administrative things that you're going to be going through. It's you're living your daily life. So all of the stresses that you have in your daily life, generally speaking, are going to follow you.
If
Um,
you don't change, especially proximity, location, you're just picking yourself, your approach to life, your and you're just taking it with you. It may look a little different, but you so the change in mindset means I need to see the patterns that I have. How do I respond to stress? How do I respond to demands for my time? And many of us that are on this channel have had 30, 40 years of operating in the same way. So making those personal assessments of this isn't good for me and I need to change, not just my location, is something that I'm hoping that people will see as a part of our discussion today. April, I flashed her comment up because, yeah, I feel like the American culture itself is centers the individual. I accomplish things on my own. If I have problems or issues, they are for me. And so to to center community and being transparent with a group of people can be a challenge. How are you helping people to kind of see, yes, I can be your coach, but there are so many benefits to community.
Yeah, well, letting them know the different resources out there, of community. I mean, there are so many. Facebook has so many groups out there that are so helpful. Um, just talking to people and letting them know that they're not alone, and helping them discover, uh, you know, just talking to people in general. Letting them know what you're doing and how you're doing. Um, there's just so much opportunity to meet people and to discover, what's out there. Watching shows like yours on YouTube. YouTube, I think, YouTube is the resource that kind of propelled me. Like this, we're talking 2016 when I made the decision to move. Um, I started watching YouTubers, and back then there weren't very many. Um, and the communities that started to build
Mhm.
in those, videos that I would watch about, I chose France. And so I would find YouTubers who moved to France just to figure out, well, how did they do it and what was their experience like? That's kind of a start. And then you see people in the comments and you learn of other YouTubers who are doing the same thing,
Mhm.
and you find other people who have like similar interests or who are watching the same channels as you and have similar questions, and you just find yourself in a community that way.
Absolutely.
It's such a great, opportunity, YouTube, Facebook, to meet people and to immerse yourself that way. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel even when I'm not personally motivated, when I'm in a community, like it's like for the group, I'm gonna try because we're all striving together. Kind of like you said, understanding that there are cycles we can go through, and I'm more likely to come out of that cycle, that negative cycle, that negative mindset that, oh, this isn't going perfectly, when I can have people who are checking in on me. Hey, I noticed you haven't posted your numbers. Are you okay? That's what community has given to me as a part of my mental health journey, my physical health journey, my move abroad journey. But that move abroad readiness mindset means I am intentional about sometimes touching the hurt places.
Mhm.
Like, I feel alone. That's not going to change. It's probably going to become more pronounced if you don't begin to do some things while you are in your country of origin to address them, to develop community, to jump into groups so that so that you don't amplify those feelings of isolation. Because a lot, what I've seen is a lot of people will say that this move abroad just didn't work for me, and it was literally because I was so homesick, I was so lonely, I had nothing to ground me in my new place. So we have the opportunity, because we've got a lot of Black women who are watching now, a lot of Black women, because we've centered um, the Black Move Abroad experience, um, to talk about some warning signs that, because there are health issues that specifically impact Black women, it used to be, the grandmothers. Now it's like, you're in your 40s and your 50s and you're hearing about stroke,
Mhm.
heart attack. I mean, we're really young. What are some warning signs, that I think that Black women and women in general could be ignoring, that you need to elevate this readiness checklist because you are experiencing things that either in as a part of your emotional well-being or physical well-being?
So I'm going to say that that's an extremely important point. It's one of the things that it's one of the reasons why 13 years ago now I decided that I wanted to, as a nurse, help people reduce their risk for disease because a lot of times it's Black women, and Black women I think are have some of the highest risks in a lot of these areas, and we don't realize it. And one of the biggest um, risk factors is actually known as the silent killer. So we don't know because it's called the silent killer. So we aren't experiencing it. We need to know and be
Mhm.
aware of it. And that's hypertension, high blood pressure. High blood pressure is very dangerous. It is one of the leading causes, and I don't have statistics on me. I didn't prepare for that, but um, it's one of the biggest causes for stroke, for heart attack. Um, but we don't know that we're having high blood pressure. I mean, we don't go around, oh, I think my blood pressure is high. It's just not something that happens. But if you are eating, generally, if you are overweight, or obese, if you are eating a diet that is high in fat, um, w and I will preface this by saying that fat is good, but you
Mhm.
wanna have a balance. But if you're having a high fat fast food, fried food, diet, it's not great. If you don't have a diet that's balanced, it's not great. That doesn't mean to say that, um, we need to adhere to a certain standard of weight. It just means that if we're eating an overall healthy diet, um, then we can reduce our risk for having high blood pressure. I mean, that's just the bottom line. If we can move more, so not even, you don't even have to start out having an exercise plan, just add some extra steps into your day,
Mhm.
progress over time, move more. Don't live a sedentary lifestyle. Sedentary is what they say is the new smoking. Move more each day. Make small changes in your diet, move more each day, and you will decrease your risk so much. And again, I will go back to making sure that you are including your healthcare providers in your life. Making sure you're getting these preventive screenings. You don't know
And
if your blood pressure is high if you're not checking your blood pressure.
yeah, and I can't. I'm interrupting you because I think people going back to the statement, if I'm moving abroad, I should be doing better health wise. Y'all don't miss your annual preventative screenings. Please don't be out here living your best life and you don't know, because a lot of this is your blood work. You can't just tell, hey, my cholesterol's up, just kind of because I feel my cholesterol, the plaque in my arteries, or that my blood pressure is high, because a headache is probably the least likely symptom. Your body is making changes. Hormones, we are talking to women in this space. Your hormones are shifting and changing and elevating your risk in other areas. So please, on your checklist, make sure you find your GYN, get in these groups and ask, do you know a functional medicine doctor? Just as much as we're asking, how can I find an apartment, or where can I bank? Please be asking these questions, because your care, you are in the driver's seat for this as well.
And again, it is a silent killer for a reason. We don't necessarily know until we have the stroke or we have the heart attack. And yes, people live through them and do well sometimes after, but a lot of people don't. And if you can prevent it, why wouldn't you want to prevent something like that by doing something so simple, by seeing your doctor, by moving more, by changing your eating habits? And I will also say, sometimes and blood pressure and cholesterol, it can't be managed by that. Sometimes you need to have medication. There are times where high cholesterol level is hereditary, and there's no amount of diet changing or very little in changing your diet that's going to change what your cholesterol level will be. And you may have to take medication. Same with blood pressure. But again, you're not going to know unless you go and see your doctor. So,
Absolutely. And the options and the opportunities outside the US are not based there, that your health care is not connected to your work. And so, yes, you can qualify for the public health care, but a lot of countries will ask you, or you may find the need to have a private healthcare system that's affordable. So, tomorrow on Instagram, I'm going to share that I am seeing an OBGYN while I'm right here in Mexico City, who is following up on some things that were unaffordable in the US. So yes, I'm over 50, so I need a full lipid panel. I need a full thyroid panel. I'm asking about my cholesterol. What kind of blood work can I get? Because literally here it's on every corner. I don't even need a referral from a doctor to go in and just get these kinds of blood tests that can equal hundreds or thousands of dollars in the US. And if affordable health care for people my age and older, this is what can send you into bankruptcy in the US. And so we've got a lot of people that I'm going to have on the medical tourism RN, another girlfriend from the Exodus Summit community, because people are looking at how can I take better care of myself. So I'm all about the gentle life. We don't have to run marathons, but if you can, you should. You should be challenging your body in that way. But something as simple as breath work, I thought it was just, it's good for muscle tone. For, if you've not done any core work, breath work can help you with your core. But it is also super important when you are in a mindfulness practice. I think as we have gotten, as women, as Black women, we've ignored a lot of things happening in our body. That headache, I'm having headaches all the time, every day. When you notice that you bought, a thing of Tylenol or Motrin, and you're going through it every month, that's an indication that something's not right. So
Right.
even that readiness around mindfulness, taking taking stock of you know how do I feel? Where do I feel stress in my body? And then doing gentle things like yoga or qigong or those are gentle movement practices that are free right on the internet. I mean, right here on YouTube, but also can help you to tune inward. Um, how are you breathing? Where are you breathing from? I'm just, I, I'm learning these things about myself, and I want to bring people like Kiya in that can say, hey, sis, recognizing is a part of the job that I have in working with you. Getting a plan and creating accountability is the connection that I'm wanting to have with you as your coach. Nobody's here to beat you over the head. I know I would not bring Kiya on here if I thought she was going to be the person that she's willing to share her life experiences. Is there anything else you wanted to share with this group in this space about the recognition of being ready as part of your move abroad process for, just readiness from a mindful standpoint, from a physical readiness standpoint?
I just would like to say that, as you mentioned, we sometimes forget, and as I did, and that's kind of how I gained 75 pounds. We focus on all of these other pieces in our lives, and our health and our well-being is, it takes a back seat. We need to learn how to put ourselves first. That means put your well-being first. Put your your physical self, first.
Mhm.
See your doctor, move more, eat the right foods, do what you can to be more mindful. Meditation
Mhm.
is something that I just started doing myself a couple of years ago. Yes, I would encourage my patients to meditate because the research is there. The research is there. But I didn't do it myself. I was that person, it doesn't work. And I know that, there are people watching her, that doesn't really work. It works. It works. And, it may take a couple of guided sessions for you to be able to feel the effects. But once you do, oh, what a difference. Oh, what a difference. So I encourage you to put yourself first. Okay. Put your mind, your body, and your soul, put it first, and everything else will fall into place behind that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so glad to have had you in this space that you said yes while I tried to figure out if I would have good internet for our time together today. Y'all, please, Kiya, will you tell us where it's in the description of this video, but can you tell our audience where they can find you on the social media sphere?
Sure. Well, I'm right here on YouTube. You can find my channel. It's uh, Kiya reRuns, ReRuns. I am also have a website, KiyaRerunsCoaching.com, and you can friend me on Facebook, Kiya Wilson, or you can find my Facebook page, Kiya reRuns, on Facebook.
Absolutely. This is just another piece of the move abroad process. Let's see, who was it that said you take you with you? Yes, Nikki, servant teacher Nikki said, you take you with you. I want to take the best, my best self with me. I want it to only grow and improve as a part of the move abroad process. The time is right now. The
Yes.
time is right now. Today is the best time to start drinking a little bit more water. Today is the best time to find a YouTube channel that makes you laugh, because those endorphins are so good for your mental health and your physical health. To step outside your door and walk the block, not with your cell phone, but just to, what are 5 things that you can hear, 4 things that you can smell, 3 things you can, touch, what can you, 2 things you can taste. Those are mindfulness practices that center you in the present, because that's where the change can begin, is being present, most importantly, for yourself. I want to thank all of my sisters for joining today, for supporting. Oh, I see you, Prophet Mother. Thank you so much for joining. Yes, yes. Walk in the rain, y'all. Do mix it up. Mix it up. Get start where you can and grow. Get in community, because that's where it is. I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to share. And Kiya, thank you so much for
Thank
being an example.
you.
Y'all get out there, because she's sharing where she's going and what she's doing, and all the challenges that she's been, successful, as well as new things that she's incorporating into her own life. Get a mentor. Get a mentor. Like Stephanie Perry said, we don't, the ease part of this might just be putting some people in front of me that give me the motivation, give me the ideas. We don't have to generate all of that within ourselves. So, all right. Well, cheers to community. Cheers to some water, because I got my water right here. Thank you all so much. Have a great evening. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Stay on, Kiya, just a moment.